Hello everybody, welcome to the Geekdom. Today I am going to be reviewing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I know this isn't the book that I said that I was going to be reviewing next, however I haven't finished that book, and it's also huge and it's also beautiful, leather bound, and I can't take that everywhere I go because I'm scared I'm going to ruin it. And this I got used. I got like 4 used books for like $1 something, and Harry Potter was one of them. And since it's already used and it's compact and it's not bulky or heavy, I was just able to throw it in my purse and read it wherever I went. So yeah, really great book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I was really amazed because this is my first time reading it and I am a bit older. However, I just figured, I was like, Harry Potter is one of those things like that you have to read if you're like a fantasy fan, and I'm really kind of disappointed that I didn't read it growing up. But I was like, if it's a good book, it's a good book. It shouldn't matter how old you are. Of course, things aren't going to be as complex as adult novels, but that a good book, even if it's for children, should have that substance that won't go away no matter how old you get. So that's what Harry Potter is. It's just one of those books that even if you read it when you're older, that it still has value to you, and so I can see why people love Harry Potter, and I can see why I see people my age or older picking this up and reading it, because I'm like, why are they reading a children's novel? And now that I've actually picked it up, I can see why, because it's kind of like, I guess I'd compare it to like a Disney movie, even though, you know, Disney movies are geared towards kids. No matter how old you get, you could pop in one of your favorite classic Disney movies and still get that substance from it and still enjoy it. And that's what this is. That's what Harry Potter is. At least the first one, because I haven't read any of the other ones at the moment. It just captured what I really like about fantasy, even though, you know, it's not dark or complex like my favorite, which is A Song of Ice and Fire. It has that magical aspect to it. Even if they're not doing any magic, it's kind of like The Hobbit. I don't know how to explain it. The Hobbit is just so charming, and that's kind of how Harry Potter is. Also, the writing style doesn't feel like it's targeted towards children. It is, of course, it is for children, but what I mean is I don't feel like she's babying the children. I know I hated that when I was a child. I felt like a lot of the writers would kind of dump things down or avoid certain like literary devices just because we were children, and so that's no fun. Here there's a lot of foreshadowing, there's no kind of dumbing down, or at least I didn't feel like it was dumbed down. So I felt like even though I was older I could enjoy it, and even though it was more basic and not as complex as adult novels, it was still a good solid read. And so this must be great for children because it has so many elements that definitely expose children to higher levels of reading. And while I was able to guess everything because it's more geared toward children, it's more basic, I enjoyed the foreshadowing and all the other devices or whatnot. So really great, really solid. I guess the only negative thing that I've had was I didn't really feel a connection with Ron and Hermione, at least not just yet, perhaps in the future books. Everyone else I kind of got a reaction from, especially the Dursleys, because we spend a lot of time with them. And Hagrid and Dumbledore, for some reason those two I got a connection with. Of course Hagrid, we see him a lot, so I got a connection with him, and he has his own kind of situations. Like for some reason he got kicked out of wizarding school, and so you kind of feel for him. And then even though we don't see Dumbledore very often, the way there's this kind of air of personality about him just really got me and interested in him. But for some reason, Ron and Hermione, I didn't get a connection. Not even Malfoy so much yet either. Of course, I got reactions from them as characters, but I didn't get a solid connection, at least not yet. So perhaps that'll happen in the future. What did I say that kind of kind of brought something up. Oh, I was saying, since we spent a lot of time with the Dursleys, that reminded me to say that I love the pacing of this book. Sometimes, there's a lot of chopping. I don't know, I hate when writers do it. They'll like either spend a lot of time on the beginning and then they'll skimp out on the middle or the end, or they'll like skimp out in the beginning and they'll focus a lot on the middle and skimp out on the end. I don't know. Writers do that a lot. But the pacing was really, really interesting. For a first book, I definitely think skimping out on the intro is like the worst possible thing ever. I definitely love intros and spending a little time there, spending a little time with the origin of our character and, or at least the setup of our character. And this book did that, but it also did that without skimping out on the other elements, which is like the middle and the end. So I was like, thank the gods. This is a really great, solid book. I think, great for children to get them start learning about like foreshadowing and so on and so forth, and definitely great for adults because sometimes books like this are kind of refreshing to read, like a children's novel, but a good children's novel. And I hear that these kind of evolve over time, which is pretty cool because if you grew up with the books, you kind of feel like you're literally growing up with the books because they're evolving with you. However, I haven't read them, so I'm not sure. But if they do that, I'm like super excited to see that. So yeah, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I can't wait to read the next ones. And what's great about Harry Potter is it's kind of just like, I don't know if I'm stretching out on a limb here, but it's kind of like a classic, like a modern classic, and you could find this like anywhere, so I don't think it'll be hard for me to get my hands on. There was something weird about my book though, like some of the pages are upside down. What kind of sorcery is this? But anyways, really good book. I think it is enjoyable for a multitude of ages. Of course, that may or may not be a good thing for you. I don't know. Some people just can't handle children's books if they're older. So it just depends on your taste. I really enjoyed it and I do recommend it. And the good thing about this book, like I was saying earlier, you can find it anywhere. So if you don't want to spend money on it, I'm like 90% sure it's like in your public library to borrow. So yeah, thank you for your time. Bye.